Well, that's kind of dramatic. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, and those that will watch this production after the fact. We appreciate you taking the time to join us for the mayor's State of the City. We're really excited to be in our historic Canton Theater. This particular venue has seen a few changes over the last year. We had a program where we redid the sound and the lighting, and then we got a partnership with the Fox Theater Institute to rehab the exterior, get some new paint up there, redo our lighting. So this is just a wonderful venue to host an event like this. I really want to specifically thank Kristen Norton Green, Ashley Hartwig, and Danny Dickinson, the staff here at the theater, for helping us put this on. It takes a lot of our team to work on events like this. So whether it's staff who are pulling individual stats together for us, our communications team that puts together the visuals and helps get this out to the public, we appreciate them. I always appreciate our police department and the great job they do for our community. The State of the City address is an important opportunity for our mayor to reflect on the work of our previous year, but also to set the table for projects and programs that will come up in the upcoming year. So I really want to appreciate this opportunity for you to be here and hear some of that from our mayor. I'm excited to welcome Mayor Bill Grant to the stage. Mayor Grant's currently serving his sixth year as mayor, following service of 6 years on the city council. Mayor Grant has called Canton home since the late 1990s and has invested his time in local boards and efforts to build our great community. Mayor Grant's a leader in the field of design and president and chief creative officer of Grant Design Collaborative here in downtown Canton. We're going to do a little bit of a video, and then the mayor will join us for his speech. So please enjoy the video.
Thank you, Billy. Thanks for that introduction, and thanks to our team for getting everything ready for tonight, especially our communications teams, hard at work back there, who put the reel together here that we just saw, and so I had not seen it, so great job. A lot of great memories over this past year. But good evening, and thank you all for joining us. It's an honor and privilege to deliver my 6th annual State of the City address since being elected as your mayor. Hope you find the presentation and the discussion that follows engaging and informative. I want to begin by welcoming, we have a lot of distinguished guests with us this evening, and I know I'll miss some of you, but you're all welcome, and I appreciate you being here. But I did want to welcome from the office of Congressman Barry Loudermilk, Mr. Paul Seals, Cherokee County Commissioner Chairman Harry Johnson, and Commissioner Benny Carter, Cherokee County Sheriff Frank Reynolds, Cherokee County Fire Chief Eddie Robinson, Cherokee County Manager Jeff Morton, Northside Hospital COO Katie Pearson, Reinhardt University President Mark Roberts, Reformation Brewery CEO Spencer Nix, Georgia Power Area Manager Nacio Denny, University Alloy Corporation HR Administrator Amy Leatherman, and History Cherokee President Rebecca Johnston. And Cherokee Office of Economic Development, we want to welcome the new president, Heath Tippins, who's with us tonight, who was just named president of the Cherokee Office of Economic Development. So thank you all for being here. Of course, I want to recognize my fellow members on the Canton City Council. If you would stand, remain standing until I have you all up here. Travis Johnson from Ward 1 and Sandy McGrew. From Ward 2, Brian Roach and Sean Tolan, who is also serving as Mayor Pro Tem this year. And from Ward 3, Dwayne Waterman and Ferris Shawn. Thank you all for your service to our city, your leadership, and your commitment to advancing our roadmap for success. I know from personal experience that it's often a thankless job, and I appreciate your ongoing support and collaboration. I also know from personal experience you're not doing it for the money, but thank you for your hard work and everything you do to move our city forward. Let's all give them a hand. Also, I'd like to welcome some of our key staff members. You heard from our city manager, Billy Peppers, our assistant city manager, Nathan Ingram, and our chief of police, Marty Farrell. We'll introduce other members of the staff in the discussion that follows this. But if you are a staff member of Team Canton, please stand and be recognized at this time. We have a lot in the back who's already standing, but hold your hands up. So thank you for all you do for our city and our residents. As we gather tonight in one of our city's most enduring landmarks, or to those that are watching online or maybe watching online later, I'm proud to say that after 190 years, the state of our city is stronger than ever, and it continues to flourish in new and exciting ways. In our recent citizen survey, 74% of you agree with this assessment, stating you're extremely positive about the current direction of our city. In a time where much of the country is divided and negativity abounds, I thank you all for your ongoing support, positive outlook, and generosity of spirit. Tonight I'll highlight only a few of the key accomplishments that we achieved in 2024 as we continue to plan our work and work our plan according to the priorities established by our residents and businesses in the roadmap for success. If I outlined all of them, we'd be here all night, so I know we all would rather be getting dinner. So, in the days ahead, we will follow up with our annual year in review publication that will showcase these accomplishments in greater detail. And as a result, as always, the results that continue to enhance our quality of life would not be possible without the hard work and dedication of our city council, our city staff, the citizen volunteers who serve on our various boards and commissions, a lot of who are here tonight, the many nonprofits in our community, and our numerous partners in both the public and private sectors. Many of these individuals and organizations, again, are present this evening, and I appreciate your support and ongoing efforts to move Canton forward. So let's take a very brief look at the 8 tenets in our roadmap and a few of the keynote accomplishments we achieved in 2024. In the area of creating great neighborhoods, the city closed out a year-long abeyance on new residential development last year. During that time, we updated our housing study, approved our comprehensive plan update, adopted a transportation master plan, initiated both a downtown master plan and a parks and recreation master plan, approved a growth boundary agreement with Cherokee County, and updated the city's zoning map and unified development code. Yes, we did all those things in a single year while we had the residential abeyance in place, and while we revisited our quality over quantity development strategy. I'm happy to say we're walking our walk, and in this past year, we have not approved a single annexation that did not adhere to the path forward as defined by our citizens and our council. The city also abandoned a section of Ship Street and provided a $2.8 million loan to the Canton Housing Authority to support tax credit funding for the complete rebuild of housing units for a new development called Tanner Place in honor of Pat Tanner, our former council member, bringing in the first 70 new public housing units to the city in almost 60 years. Okay. Thank you. Canton also took ownership of the former North Canton Elementary School site from Cherokee County. In partnership with the county and Canton Housing Authority, the abandoned elementary school was demolished, leaving the historic gymnasium intact and a pad for future community development. Last year, the city approved 403 residential certificates of occupancy for new homes, and our staff performed over 12,000 residential inspections. When it comes to celebrating the diversity of our wonderful community, the city partnered with History Cherokee and Black History Task Force to install signage at the Stumptown community to celebrate the history of that neighborhood. We also unveiled the Sunnyside mural in the Hispanic heart of our community, a collaboration between the City of Canton, our Canton Cultural Arts Commission, Mr. Bill Kent, who is with us this evening, and artists Gus Reynolds and Graham Caraway. We also hosted the 3rd annual Canteen and Young Adult Job and Resources Fair, and our ever-popular Multicultural Festival moved to the newly renovated Harmon Park and celebrated record attendance. Last year, we also launched the city's first staff cohort of Spanish language learners through an innovative partnership with Babbel and co-hosted a Hispanic business fair with local business leaders. We continued partnerships with local youth groups for field trips to City Hall, reading with a cop, bus stop with a cop, classroom visits with the mayor, one of my favorite activities, and popular summer recreation jobs for teenagers. For advancing regional economic success, Canton joined with Cherokee County to mark the opening of Technology Ridge Parkway that will connect the bluffs with the expanding Cherokee County Airport. We hired a Georgia rock star, Andy Leslie, as our new economic development manager. And the city manager and I joined local government and business leaders on Cherokee County Office of Economic Development's inaugural LEAP trip to the Nashville area to learn about local growth patterns and successful economic development trends. Construction was also started on a new and much-needed parking deck at Northside Hospital, Cherokee. We continued our Connect Canton program with the Cherokee Chamber of Commerce, where the city covers the first year of membership and ribbon cuttings for new businesses in the city. The city served as a presenting sponsor for the annual Chamber Emerge Business Education Series and also the Women in Business Luncheon. And in 2024, there were over 1,000 business license renewals in the city, including the addition of 143 new businesses. As we continue to work to enhance historic downtown Canton, last year, downtown events drew over 500,000 attendees, including our very first downtown fireworks display at our July 5th, First Friday. A draft of the downtown master plan was completed following several public input sessions and hundreds of suggestions from our residents. The project was led by our Downtown Development Authority, and it has my full-throated endorsement. To protect the future integrity of historic downtown, the city purchased the Cherokee North Apartments and 2 adjacent parcels for a future mixed-use development. And we hired Goodwin Mills and Kaywood to draft concept plans for a redevelopment project that will serve as the signature gateway into downtown along North Street. Recently, we also entered into an intergovernmental agreement with Cherokee County to renovate the historic downtown fire station. In addition, construction also began on the District on Etowah, a new downtown luxury apartment project at the Mill on Etowah. The DDA hired Modern Mobility to study and make recommendations for corridor improvements into downtown from exit 16 along Hickory Flat Highway and Marietta Road. The reimagining of this gateway has finally started, and I couldn't be happier. I've been talking about this since I've been on City Council, and we're excited to get the primary gateway into our city redeveloped and reimagined into a worthwhile entrance into our wonderful city. As our city manager mentioned, 2024 saw several upgrades here at the Canton Theater, including lighting, sound, and exterior facade. The Historic Preservation Commission adopted new residential guidelines, and the Historic District was expanded to include some of Canton's oldest homes, continue our efforts to keep East Main Street residential. And last year, we welcomed 21 new businesses downtown. These 21 new businesses created 273 net new jobs and $6.5 million in building improvements, historic preservation, and adaptive reuse projects. As we continue our efforts to sustain our natural environment and resources, a new office building was built for longtime employee Mr. Walt Pope. Many of you may know him. He's worked for the city for 37 years. And the building is for the operations of our Ridge Road roll-off site. The building was actually upcycled from a structure removed from Bowling Park. Our Peace, Love, and Recycling event collected 1,300 gallons of old paint, 4 tons of electronics, and 100 used tires in a single day, keeping this trash off of our streets and out of our city. Along with staff, the Environmental and Sustainability Advisory Board hosted our 31st annual Arbor Day event and plant sale. We also held our 3rd annual Garden in the Park event. And the new energy-efficient HVAC system at City Hall was completed last year. The city's solar canopy at the new parking deck downtown resulted in $14,000 in energy credits and powered free charging for hundreds of electric vehicles. Our Public Works Department continues to be a shining star for the city and always helpful to our citizens. And last year alone, they conducted 1,200 brush pickups, over 100 leaf pile removals. They processed 379 stormwater work orders, collected 8,700 yard debris bags, and conducted 658 curbside pickups for bulk items. Let's give them a round of applause. We also installed a solar tree at Etowah River Park to provide energy offsets for park facilities. As we continue our work to connect citizens to parks and recreation, the city's first ever Parks and Recreation Master Plan was adopted after lengthy engagement with citizens, park users, and other shareholders. Again, that's our city's first Parks and Recreation Master Plan, and our city is just celebrated 190 years, its 190th year anniversary. The grand opening was held for the new mini-pitch soccer field at Harmon Park in partnership with Atlanta United, who provided a grant, the first in the state of Georgia for the mini-pitch fields. In response to citizen input, we added new restroom facilities at Etowah River Park and Bowling Parks and updated existing facilities at Etowah River and Brown Parks. This will make your stroll around the trails much more comfortable. A new solar accessible picnic table was installed at the playground at our new playground at Heritage Park. And our 6th annual Canton River Rock concert drew a crowd of 8,000 people over 2 days. As our city manager mentioned, the 4th of July fireworks, you mentioned the first fireworks in downtown, but the 4th of July fireworks over Riverstone were really spectacular. It was our largest fireworks display ever. And congratulations for your redemption, Adam Dobson. In addition to all of our city events, our staff processed 79 special event applications for other organizations, festivals, fundraisers, and races that occurred throughout our city parks. In the area of improving infrastructure for the future, Phase 1 of the water pollution control plant was completed, and the city is now treating wastewater through our state-of-the-art membrane technology. Local paving projects were completed on 3.5 miles of city-controlled roadways. And GDOT completed repaving of Interstate 575 and all the exit ramps. You're happy to know that exit 16 to Williamson Brothers Barbecue is now a smooth ride. You can now drive over and get some great food from my friend Reyes without experiencing a flat tire. That is progress, my friends. A contract was approved to design a new traffic signal at the Publix and Walgreens intersections on Prominence Point Parkway. And we continue to work with GDOT for improvements along State Route 140 north from Walgreens to Great Sky and Laurel Canyon, including approval of additional construction funds from the Atlanta Regional Commission. Last year, we approved the construction contract for another new traffic signal at Reinhardt College Parkway and Reservoir Drive. And we partnered with Northside Hospital Cherokee for a traffic signal at a new secondary entrance for the hospital. We also constructed a new water booster pump station at Brown Industrial Park. And we partnered with Black & Veatch to study options for efficiently increasing capacity of water production and clean water at our water plant. And finally, when it comes to leading with excellence, we welcome Travis Johnson and Ferris Yawn to the council in 2024. We conducted a review of all boards, commissions, and authorities to create job descriptions and set new standards for service. Last year, we also completed a review and approved update to the city's Unified Development Code. And we implemented a compensation and classification study for city staff, including the region's first step and grade program for our public works staff. We hired 19 new employees last year, including Police Chief Marty Farrell and Human Resources Manager Amy Thomas. We also greatly increased employee certifications. That was led by our Building and Safety Services Department, so congratulations to all. We launched our first citizen survey and had over 13,000 participants in that survey. And we collaborated with council at 2 strategic planning retreats last year, and we'll be heading out for a retreat, first retreat this year, next month. And we responded to 886 open records requests. Last but not least, we received a clean financial audit. Most importantly, we kept the city's millage rate steady at 5.4 mills, even in the face of inflation and increased project costs, the lowest millage rate in our city's modern history. So as you can see, we accomplished a lot last year, even by covering just a small percentage of the projects that were completed. But our work is never done. Your mayor and council, along with Team Canton, will continue to be guided by our strategic community plan, the roadmap that originated with our residents. So now I'll mention a few of the exciting initiatives that will launch, continue, or be completed in the year ahead, God willing, and the Etowah River doesn't rise. We will break ground on our new South Canton Park, the first in that area of our city. The project will feature some of the amenities our citizens most desire, including a state-of-the-art dog park that has been on our citizens list for many years. In efficient and cost-effective approaches, the park will also include a new elevated water tank to assist in increased storage capacity and water distribution in that area. We appreciate the support of Governor Brian Kemp and the state's $2.2 million grant to assist with this project. If everything stays on schedule, we will complete the rebuild and expansion of our sewer plant, the largest municipal project in our city's history. With over $60 million invested in this project, we'll deliver more efficient services, almost double our treatment capacity, and will be completed with financing at just over 1% interest, which saved our residents and customers millions of dollars in debt. We'll also break ground on a new Etowah River pedestrian bridge that will connect our last segment of the river trail between Heritage and Bowling Parks with the mill on Etowah and a new canoe and kayak launch. We appreciate the Appalachian Regional Commission for their $600,000 grant towards this exciting project. We'll also break ground on the city's first new streetscape and pedestrian improvement initiative in over a decade with our West Main Pedestrian Corridor project. This will provide better pedestrian access and parking along West Main Street and further connect downtown to the Middle and Etowah and our trail system. A highlight of this project will include the first, hopefully, of many sections of Bering utilities in historic downtown Canton. We will launch our 16th season of First Friday in this year. Each year, these events get bigger and better. It's not uncommon these days at First Fridays to see the kids that used to be in the bounce house now having an adult beverage with their parents or their new spouses. So we've come a long way, and First Fridays has certainly come a long way thanks to work with our Main Street program. Based on public feedback, we will transition our 6th season of the Canton River Rock Concerts back to a series. This event will be held on May 17th, June 21st, July 19th, and August 23rd. And it will feature artists and groups such as Electric Avenue, Drake Milligan, and Sammy Kershaw, to name a few. Traffic signal projects will be completed at Reinhardt College Parkway and Reservoir Drive. Another along Prominence Point Parkway at Publix and Walgreens, and another new secondary at the new secondary entrance at Northside Hospital Cherokee. And work will begin soon on the renovation of our historic downtown Canton fire station. Those are just a few things that we have going this year, and then there are a lot more that we'll be announcing soon. So without a doubt, we have a lot to be excited about and even greater work ahead. Recently, Canton celebrated its 190th year anniversary. And now in less than 10 short years, we will acknowledge our bicentennial. This will be about around the same time our original 15-year roadmap for success will draw to a conclusion. By staying our course, informed by our roadmap, keeping our wits about us while sharpening our focus, and continuing to be accountable to our taxpayers and our community, we'll allow Canton to flourish with even more substantial results that will benefit future generations, including our city's youth that will choose to live or return to Canton to raise families, start businesses, and perhaps even decide to run for public office and be a public servant because we inspired them with a positive example. By staying focused on a quality over quantity strategy for innovative, responsible growth, we will continue to track businesses and innovative projects that reflect the needs and services desired most by our residents. And with an ongoing, steadfast commitment to a nonpartisan approach to local government as defined by our city charter, let's embark upon a decade-long march to Canton's bicentennial, guided not only by a thoughtful and informative roadmap, but by a growing desire to take a path less taken in these tumultuous times. A path that illuminates our way with kindness, tolerance, respect, and support for all. And as we continue to work together to take Canton forward, let's share radical pride in having the undeniable privilege of living, working, playing, and serving in the coolest small town in America. Thank you for allowing me the honor to serve as your mayor, and as always, bless your heart in the good way, of course. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If you'll give us just a second, we're going to have our guests come on stage. If this is a new thing for you, we usually have a conversation right after the state of the city, and we'll go over just a few items of things that we're working on and give you a chance to hear from some of your Canton staff. Well, that was quicker than I thought, so that's good. Want to welcome you to this portion of the program, which we call Conversations on Canton, and it's really an opportunity for you to get to hear from the staff here at the city, an opportunity for us to really engage each other in a little bit of conversation and talk about some things that are going on, let you know what we're working on, and some of the questions and things we hear about from our residents and our constituents. We have some of our team here with us. And we have seen some changes in our team over the last few years due to retirements and the like. And so you may not have had an opportunity to meet everyone on the stage, so I want to give you that chance to get to know them. First, we have our new Chief of Police, Marty Farrell. Marty joined us in March of last year after retiring as the Chief of Police in Marietta, and we are excited to have him. He leads a staff of 60 that are in charge of patrolling and keeping the safety in our community, records and investigations and crime analysis and the like. So we appreciate Chief Farrell being with us tonight. Second, I'd like to introduce Bethany Watson. Bethany is our city engineer. Bethany has been our city engineer now since 2021, but she started with the city in 2014 working in development services. She is in charge of transportation projects, water, wastewater, and land development. So we're glad to have Bethany with us tonight. Our newest person on the stage, Ms. Andi Leslie, joins us coming from the city of Rome. She is our economic development manager, and she will be tasked with helping with business recruitment and retention and working with commercial investment in our community. And lastly, we have Kevin Turner. Kevin is our Community Development Director. He joins us from time with Cherokee County and also with the city of Roswell. Kevin is in charge of the planning side of the city, zoning, historic preservation, business licensing and permitting, code enforcement. So we're glad to have him with us tonight. At this time, I'd really like to kind of open it up with just a general question and observation. So in the city of Canton, since 2000, we've had a little bit of growth. I remember when I first moved to Cherokee County in 2005, I read a report from the Atlanta Regional Commission that basically said that at the time, Woodstock and Canton would have about 50,000 residents each by the year 2040. And that seemed very strange to me at the time because the closest census data that you had Canton right around 7,500 residents. And today, sitting here in 2025, we're a little over 38,000 residents. So the growth that was projected is actually taking place. So one of the questions I would have for you is, when you get an opportunity to speak to a new resident in our community, what would you tell them about Canton? What would you want them to know from your perspective as they come into our community as a new resident? Chief?
Well, thank you, Billy. I appreciate that. For those of you who are new to Canton, welcome. Glad you're here tonight. And those who have been here for a while, Canton PD appreciates your support of our department and the men and women that are out there every night protecting and serving us. So very thankful for the team we have. So again, thanks for being here tonight. If I was going to welcome a new resident here, I would tell you that you're very fortunate that you have a very low crime rate here in Canton. Our crime is generally driven by larcenies from our big box stores. I talk about shoplifting, thefts, small-time thefts, those type of things, which is really good for us as a citizen, that's where the crime is occurring on the larceny side of things. So it's a very safe community that you live in. I would tell you this, that we handle about a little over 30,000 calls a year. We respond to that, mean 911 calls per year, which is about between 25 and 2,800 calls a month. Don't check my math on that, so it's pretty close. Luckily for our Canton, we're a state-certified agency. We just got recertified a couple of weeks ago, so that's a really high standard for our department to have. I'm very proud of that. So, you have a state-certified agency that follows our policies and our rules and our laws in a very professional manner. And really what's nice about the Canton Police Department is because we have such a low crime rate, we're able to have a great community outreach part of it. As the mayor mentioned earlier, we talk about our coffee with a cop, we read with the children at the schools, we have chicken with the chief, which was really big fun at Chick-fil-A. We participate in the multicultural festivals. We do a lot of things with our community, which lets you get to know the officers. So when you see us, hey, I've talked to this officer before in a situation where I wasn't involved in any kind of issue, no accidents, nothing going on, just a conversation. So that's what you have at the City of Canton Police Department. And so if you see us out, please welcome, introduce yourself. I encourage my officers to do the same. So again, thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, Chief. Kevin, from the community development perspective, growth and development, what would you say?
Yeah, well, I'd say welcome. We're glad to have you here. Obviously, Canton is a desired place to live. That's why people keep moving here. To the new residents, you're probably not going to be our only new residents. People continue coming here, as we know, because it's a great place to live. It's what brought you here. Usually, when I meet new residents, really any of the residents, the main question is, hey, what are they building over there? And so people want to talk about development, especially about growth. They want to know really the process a lot of times. How are rezonings processed well, people don't always know what a rezoning is, but people want to know, how does development happen? How does this vacant piece become apartments, or how does this piece that's not outside the city come into the city? And that's usually something that brings people talking about the growth and development. And I like to tell them a little bit about, you may see the signs up saying there's a proposed project. That doesn't necessarily mean that a project's going to happen. That's usually one of the calls I get from people wanting to know, hey, I got this letter from someone saying this is going to be developed. These are going to be here. And I like people to understand that everyone has the right as a property owner to request rezonings, annexations. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to approve them all. As the mayor said, most of the recent annexations, after careful review, didn't fit what we wanted, and they were turned down. We host the public meetings at City Hall. You'll see the meetings. If you get that letter, you get those signs. And even if they aren't approved, we're still going to have growth, which is usually the most common question or concern. There's actually something like 500,000 homes, not 500,000, sorry. Please, I see the paper here. 5,000 homes that have been approved already out there in developments for the past 20, 30 years. Some aren't going to be built. Some will probably change to something else, but we're going to continue to grow. We're growing. We're a vibrant community. That's why all of you are here. That's why new residents are coming here, and I think that's why we're going to continue to have new residents and continue to grow.
Thank you, Kevin. Bethany, from an infrastructure standpoint, what would you say?
So with a growing community, the first thing that everybody complains about is traffic. So I think that I would probably discuss some of the things that we've done over the last few years, such as the Transportation Master Plan, and talk about some of the projects that we have in the future. Another thing that I think is important for new residents and old residents to understand is that we have 3 different jurisdictions over our streets in Canton. So our major highways, such as Highway 20, Highway 140, Riverstone Parkway, those are controlled by GDOT. And then we have some of the larger streets on the outskirts of town, such as Univetter Road and Butterworth, which are Cherokee County jurisdiction, and then all of the local streets and some of the other major roads, such as Marietta Highway, Marietta Road, Prominence Point Parkway, Bluffs Parkway, those are city streets. So just understanding the difference between the entities and just understanding that the city works with those other municipalities to create projects and make it better traffic. However, ultimately, whoever is in charge of those streets is the one who is the ultimately the decision maker for those projects.
Thank you. Andi?
Well, I think we just cracked the code for all of our incredible growth with the mayor's recap on all the wonderful things that we're doing. It's no wonder everybody wants to come live here and be a part of that. From my perspective in economic development, I want our residents to know that we have a really healthy local economy, and Canton should be very proud of that. Last year we had over 1,400 active business licenses. We have incredible existing industry here, thanks to so many of our partners. We're very fortunate to be a regional medical hub here, and incredible growth and expansion happening with Northside Cherokee. And you can do your part as a new resident by shopping local and spending your money here. I know with trends these days and due to convenience, it's so easy to shop online, but when we shop locally and spend our money here, 67 cents for every dollar stays in our community. And for small businesses, that can quite literally make or break a business. So I know I'm probably preaching to the choir with those of you that are here and active and engaged, but tell your friends, tell your neighbors, make make sure they're supporting our local businesses. And additionally, if you are a business owner or if maybe you're thinking about opening a business, we would love to be a resource for you. I would love for you to give me a call. We'd be glad to kind of help you navigate the process. We're really fortunate in Cherokee County to have amazing partners like the Chamber of Commerce and the Cherokee Office of Economic Development. And so we're just very fortunate to have a wonderful, vibrant economy here.
As the chief elected official, CEO, what would you say to a new resident? Mr. Mayor?
Well, I say welcome, and I meet new residents all the time at events or just walking in downtown or shopping or at dinner or lunch, and I'm always just pleasantly surprised by the backgrounds of individuals that are moving and relocating into Canton. As it's been mentioned, it's a great place to be, and it's the coolest small town in America, so of course, people want to come here and move here. So I'd always also say that, just don't move here and then move behind your keyboard and then start participating in social media chats. Move here and get engaged. Make sure you read and have read our roadmap for success. Understand our vision for the city and how we want it to grow and develop, and that originated with our residents. And just be engaged. Volunteer for one of our amazing events. Volunteer to serve on one of our boards and commissions. I always say we are a work in progress, and our city is a co-creation, and it's co-creation between our residents, our elected officials, and our staff, and everyone that is here. So don't just move here because you heard great things about it, but move here and become part of the fabric of the local community. It's a great place to live. So.
Absolutely. One of the questions that I think about is, I see everything from a kind of an overview perspective as the city manager. I like to know what our department leaders are really excited about. So, Andi, what's a project or two that you're really excited about for 2025?
There are so many projects, and I brought my handy-dandy notes, and thanks to Heath, wherever he is, for letting me bug him to make sure I get these numbers right. But we are so fortunate. We have Becker Robotics that will be breaking ground in the very near future on their North American headquarters right here in Canton, Georgia. That was a $30 million investment and will create 137 net new jobs, so how fortunate are we to have that? And thanks to Heath and the co-ed team and Misty for all their hard work. We also have Canton Corporate Park coming down the pipeline, which is 50 acres that is primed and ready for light industrial recruitment off of Knox Bridge Highway. So we're really excited about that. But the one that I'm super duper excited about is the North Street redevelopment project right here in the heart of downtown Canton. Downtowns are near and dear to my heart. It's what I've spent the majority of my municipal career doing, and this mixed-use development will be transformative for downtown Canton. So we will be adding retail and commercial office space, residential, which will be huge, and of course, a boutique hotel downtown. So I'm really excited to get going on that project.
Great. Bethany, what are you excited about?
So as Andi said, there's so many that we have going on here, but the ones that I'm most excited about are the Reinhardt College Parkway at Reservoir Drive signal. That's a project that has been ongoing for quite some time. We've been working with GDOT for about 5 years to get that signal in place, and so you should be seeing some construction workers out there now with the signal going into effect by summer. And then another project that I'm really excited about is the River Mill Pedestrian Bridge, which is the pedestrian bridge over the Etowah at the mill on Etowah. But so I'm really excited about that project because eventually you'll be able to go from across the river to the mill and into downtown as we continue completing the project. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, what excites you?
Well, there's so many exciting things going on. I mentioned South Canton Park, our first new park in South Canton, which is going to be a great addition to the city and especially to that part of our city. But I'm really most excited. Those who know me well know I've been talking about the gateway entrance on Hickory Flat Highway, exit 16 coming into Canton. It's where new visitors enter Canton for the first time. GPS brings you in there. New investors come there. And when I first moved to Canton and opened my business, my clients were coming up from Atlanta or flying in from New York and then coming along Hickory Flat Highway and coming to office and say, where the hell did you move? So, so I'm excited about the reimagination of that area and entrance into the city, a new gateway entrance to the city that will provide the first impression that our city deserves and is worthwhile. So it's been a long time in the works. So excited to really break ground on that project this year, and also the new pedestrian and roadway improvements along that, a new pedestrian bridge across Canton Creek, and the other roadway improvements that will be aligning there, basically expanding the footprint of downtown Canton all the way over to Hickory Flat Highway, and then into the gateway of Sunnyside, the community, which we've been working to revitalize for many years now. So it's an exciting project, and it's multifaceted. It's also probably going to be the most signature project in our TAD district, and I'm excited to get that started, so see visible progress.
Kevin, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I'm most excited about our development impact fee methodology.
I know that. I know everybody in the audience is excited about impact
Y'all didn't expect
fees.
something that sexy tonight, did you? Yeah.
That's a planner for you.
Exactly. No, it's really important. I actually really am excited about it. It's an important thing to do. Exactly. For those who don't know, when developments come, it's a fee that they're paid to help mitigate impact and help fund our infrastructure. So the new parks is paid partly through these fees through new residential, police service, fire service. Those are partially funded through impact fees. The road improvements Bethany was talking about. And our last impact fee methodology report was done in 2019. And so y'all know what the prices have done since then. And that affects us too. That affects what we have to pay and our construction costs, the same as everyone else. And unfortunately, we can't index it to inflation. The mayor and the council can't just say, well, let's raise our fees. We have to do these studies. These studies have to be submitted to the state for approval and then adopted. So it's good for us to be getting the money we need for the impacts of new development so that we can adequately fund our road infrastructure, parks, those sort of things like I mentioned. But maybe that's a little behind the scenes, so I'll mention one other project quickly. North Canton Cottage Village is a project that our housing team has been working on for quite a while. And really the goal for that is to have some high quality, affordable cottage-style housing that I think will really be a showcase for the community and for developers.
Chief, what are you excited about this year?
Well, to get to go last, I can just say I'm excited about all the things this group's doing for the city of Canton, but more on the home front for Canton PD. I'm really excited about our public safety ambassador initiatives. It's going to be called a CAPS unit, a Canton Ambassadors for Public Safety. It's a civilian team that are going to be trained to augment and supplement our Canton police officers. As the city of Canton grows, obviously our staff needs to grow to provide the services that you need. So one way to do that is to hire civilians who can come out and take reports for nonviolent, non-emergency type calls. So we've called a lot of times, you don't need someone with all this training, all this experience and guns and badges to come out and take a lost bicycle report or stolen cell phone report. So the ambassadors can handle those type of calls and keep our officers free to patrol the areas in the city that need more police protection and more police resources. Also, the most important piece of the ambassador program is going to be that they're going to be in our parks. In the world, we have so many people visiting our parks every year. Those ambassadors will be there patrolling the parks, eyes and ears for the police. There will be folks you can ask questions to. If you see something going on, you can ask the ambassadors. So it's going to really be a manpower multiplier for us. And the great thing about it, we can get them on the road, get them trained in about 8 weeks, or it takes us about 9 months to get a police officer from the day we hire you to the day we get you on the road. So a significant difference in the amount of training and time, but you get a quality individual who can take care of most of the needs of the community. So I'm super excited about this initiative, and so I'm hoping if things go well as I plan, hopefully to have them on the road, out seeing them in the field, maybe by June if things go well. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's where I'm excited.
I should mention that, that's a good point. This year, for those of you that may not know, the training academy for police officers for law enforcement was extended. So it's now a 20-week program. So the time you hire an individual as a cadet and get them through the program and then get them through your local training as well, you've about got a year invested in that employee before they're really running on their own. So I know that sometimes at night I get thoughts about what's going on in the community. You know, maybe something I forgot to send that email during the day, or I get the text message. Miss McGrew is really good about late night text messages with questions. So, you know, there's things that kind of keep me up at night from that perspective. In your role, knowing what's going on in our community, knowing the concerns of our citizens, knowing, you know, what investors want to see, and then also thinking about what's going on nationally, what keeps you awake at night, or what are you thinking about that gives you a pause as it relates to potential challenges or opportunities? Chief, I'll let you go first this time.
All right, good deal. Well, I'll tell you this. When I lay down at night and I'm thinking about the day and what's going on in the world, I want to make sure that I'm doing everything I can do as a police chief in Canton to hire and have the best quality people that can come out and serve our citizens and keep us safe. I watch a lot of news to stay abreast of things that are going on across our nation, and not a week goes by that I don't hear something or read something about an incident happening at one of our schools, a school shooting, someone with a gun at one of the schools, you know, at a mall or one of our big shopping areas. And I lay down thinking, have I done everything I can possibly do as the chief of police to ensure that I have the best quality people out there that have the best training to ensure that if something does happen, God forbid, in our city, we're going to have the best response time and stop the threat as quickly as possible. And that keeps me awake at night. And I see a lot of things going on in our country that have mental health components with that. And I would argue the point that anyone that would go into a school and cause harm to our children, there's a mental health component tied to that. And so we're seeing more and more of that across our nation. And we have to be better at picking up on these tendencies of people to try to address these issues prior to something happening. So that's extremely important. And we as a law enforcement agency are now having to do more and more things that are really outside of our box of law enforcement. We become a fixture of all things, and so we have to be good at the things that are the most important. And so when I lay down at night, I pray, have I done everything I can possibly do to ensure that our families, our children, our citizens are safe, and along with my police officers, are they safe? And I will tell you this, the city of Canton provides the best equipment, the best vehicles, everything we ask for, we need. Our city council, our mayor, our city manager supports us and gives us the equipment we need so we can do a good job for you. And so I sleep well knowing that we're the best trained, and I'll sleep well tonight knowing that too.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor?
Well, like the chief, I will sleep well tonight, knowing that we have a great team in place and caring, qualified people. We have an amazing city council, and they really truly care about our residents and our businesses. We have conversations all the time about housing, about economic development, about growth in general. But the thing that probably keeps me up most at night when I'm not getting calls or texts or emails or messages, is just, you know, growth in general. And it's, you know, the big, I guess, elephant in the room in growth, and it's a complicated topic. But our citizens in the citizen survey I've mentioned, while 74% of residents felt very positive about the direction of the city, their number one attribute or characteristic of Canton they love most is our small town community feel. And so I think we work really hard every day, 24/7, trying to maintain that small town feel of the city of Canton. While we continue to grow, I think we've done a great job of doing that and protecting, and we've had a lot of historic preservation, especially in the downtown district, and we're working to recognize some of our historic neighborhoods and expand our residential historic district. But I think growth in general, and just with everything that's going on in the world, as I mentioned in my State of the City address, I just hope we can continue to focus. And I think about every night, how can I focus more and focus our team more on our roadmap, which again, the priorities came from our citizens, and how can we continue to build, a community where people feel engaged, where they feel excited about what we're doing, where they feel at home, and They rely on the kindness of their neighbors and the warmth that Canton is known for. For all those people we talked about that are moving here, they're people from all walks and backgrounds and different places in the world moving to the city of Canton. And how do we maintain this wonderful, warm, kind, loving community that we have and respect everyone within the community. So.
Bethany?
So from an infrastructure perspective, one of the things that keeps me up at night is increasing water and wastewater regulations. We're continuously seeing, I probably get 2 emails a day about ways that a salesperson can help me with X, Y, and Z on a water plant. But so with increased regulations, we'll have increased treatment, changes to water and wastewater. And so in order to be responsible with the water and sewer funds, we have to be on top of all of that at all times. And thankfully, we do have the Hickory Log Creek Reservoir or Lake Canton, and that provides reliable a reliable water source, as well as more of a steady water quality over what you would see in a typical river. So that's what keeps me up at night.
And sometimes there's a water main break that wakes us up too, right?
Yep.
Kevin?
Yeah, I think it's the housing affordability situation. You know, it's a problem here, and it's not just here. It's all throughout Georgia. It's all throughout the country. There was a study done last summer, and they looked at median incomes, median home prices, and the affordability ratio, and they came up that 95% of the counties in America are considered unaffordable. And so if you're one of the other 5%, they didn't have enough data. So of those studied, it's 100%. So that feels overwhelming sometimes because you kind of wonder, as great as our housing team is, I think they've researched everything that we could possibly do. That's either we've started to implement or looked into implementing or looked to see if it was right for Canton. And the problem is it's so vast. You know, it's throughout all the communities, all the conferences I go to. This is probably the biggest topic. You know, what can we do about the affordability crisis? And on paper, with the supply-demand issue, it just says, build more houses. But it's, as we know, it's really not that simple. And so trying to find that balance of keeping our community great and that feel that we want here, balancing housing supply with sustainable growth, it's a difficult task.
Andy?
I'm not gonna lie, I've lost a little sleep being in this community just shy of 3 months and Billy calling me and saying, hey, you're gonna be part of the State of the City address. Okay, good. No pressure. But as it relates to my job, I think all of our partners in the room can attest, being workforce ready has been top of mind since the pandemic. I was just reading an article that was published today, actually, that Georgia is leading the way, and we're doing exceedingly well in comparison to the rest of the country. However, even being 5 years removed from the onset of the pandemic, this is still the number one thing that comes up as I've been meeting with businesses. We have a survey open right now for our local businesses in the city, and workforce and staffing issues is the number one challenge that the majority of them are dealing with. So, and we all know that's not an easy overnight fix by any means. And then also when it comes to working with small businesses, figuring out how to connect with them on the front end before they are ready to jump in and they sign a lease or they buy a property or whatever the case may be because they're really passionate about something, they've got a great idea, or maybe out of necessity they're having to start a business, right? But they've not quite done the work to set themselves up for success. So figuring out how we can connect with them and help be a resource and help set them up for success before they really hit the ground running. Lastly, I will mention we have an incredible tourism base here already in Canton, but just been thinking a lot about how we can continue to grow our capacity for tourism. I know the new hotels will be critical in that, but just thinking about how we can capture people. There's so many people that are driving by us on the interstate, and how we can continue to draw them in and capture them as an audience.
You mentioned workforce. One of the things that I think about that I hear is a struggle across the state of Georgia. So for those of you in the room that might not know, there's 530 cities in the state of Georgia. We have a bunch of cities. 45% of municipal employees can retire by 2030. And that is the knowledge of water and wastewater operations. That's the knowledge of law enforcement. That's the knowledge of development and housing and municipal finance and public works and fire and all of that together. And I know that, in conversations with other city managers, county manager, other hiring groups, there's a general concern, will there be a next generation that wants to step up into municipal service? Because you as citizens have a desire for those services. There's an expectation that you're going to receive those services. So when I have the opportunity to go to a middle school career fair or an opportunity to speak to a group of students that might visit City Hall, one of the things I try to do is impress upon them that there is a need for public sector employees. We need people who can serve their community, who want to do that, who want to have the opportunity to give back and live in the place where they work and make a better place. So kind of a follow-up to that thread, and each of you that are on staff have come from another local government. You've worked somewhere else before. What makes Canton special? What would make someone want to come here from your perspective? Andi?
Yeah, so I was fortunate to visit Canton a couple of years ago. We hosted the Georgia Downtown Association Conference here, and I was very impressed not only with all the revitalization efforts and investments that have happened here in downtown, but one of the things that really stood out to me as a government employee is the strong vision that was shared by leadership. We met Billy and Nathan, and we had the pleasure of meeting Mayor Grant and several of the council members early on in the planning process, and you all were singing from the same song sheet the entire time. And I get to work with communities all over the state, and I will say that is rare, and that was very enticing to me, and I was very impressed by that. The roadmap in and of itself was incredibly impressive to me, and I was like, I would like to be a small part of this. And so I told Billy, wink, wink, if you ever, have an opening, give me a call. And so just excited to be here and have a really small role in all the great things that are happening.
Bethany?
So I came from a similar size city that was just a little bit smaller, and Canton feels like a small hometown. So that's one of the things specifically about Canton that is unique to me. But as far as being a staff person, council is really supportive of all projects that staff brings to them, and they're not afraid to continue to go after grants, and they're very in tune with what staff's doing. They want to know where the projects are and where they're going, and I find that that's very good, for lack of a better word right now. Because it's hard to work for a municipality that's not supportive of what you see in the direction your project should be going.
Kevin?
Yeah, along the lines of what Bethany was saying, this is a city and a city council and mayor that want to accomplish things. I've worked at some other cities, and I know a lot of other cities in the area. Really, most cities on the north side of Atlanta are mostly fiscally conservative. We're trying to keep your taxes low. But a certain city I worked for and some others, the way they accomplish that is just by not doing anything. So you're not really getting a return on it, whereas our taxes here are just as low or lower than some of our peer cities. But look at what everything from last year, and look at what everything we have planned on, new parks, road improvements. It's just, it's projects we keep moving forward while still, keeping a good quality place to live.
Chief?
Yeah, I have a brother who's a deputy chief at Cobb PD who lives in the city limits of Canton, and we would come up here to visit him. And one of the first things I noticed when we come to restaurants and walk around the area, the friendliness of the people in Canton. And I'm like the rest. I'm coming from a different city that's a little bit larger than Canton, and you know, it's funny, you know, everyone talks about traffic and those type of things, but I drive around an unmarked police car every day, and people still let you out. They don't know I'm a police officer. They'll smile and let you out in your traffic, and they're not riding around with a scowl on their face like they're upset and stressed out. And so it's a very calming environment, and when you cross from the Cobb County line into Cherokee County, it is like a change of the vibe. I'm not sure how to explain that. And you guys understand it. You live in Canton, in Cherokee County, you understand. But one thing I do find that's important to me as a police chief, there are things that I'm going to need to effectively do the job that I do. And I've got a lot of friends that are chiefs of police across the country and across the state. And one of the biggest things that I will sit there and go back and forth with them is the support we have from the city council and mayor and our city manager. And I'm not saying that because they're sitting here in this room. I would say it somewhere out with you guys to tell you that. They support our city and they support you. And I don't see any hidden agendas with them. They're here really for the good of the city. And I mean that wholeheartedly, because you'll find in some other places, the council, like Kevin mentioned, they're there for whatever reason, but they're not really trying to do things good for the city. And so that's what the biggest thing I see is with the way the city is, the vibe you have in the city, and as the mayor puts it, the coolest small town in America. It is really very true, and I love every minute up here.
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate you taking time to sit and listen to a little bit of a conversation between staff. These are conversations that we have every day, and we enjoy having conversations with our residents as well. So as we conclude tonight, feel free to come up to one of us if you have a particular question. Anytime you have a question about anything that's going on in the city of Canton, it's real easy. You just send an email to tellus@cantongA.gov. I get every single one of those emails. A number of our department heads do, and we respond to those emails based upon the area that it best fits with. I appreciate the mayor and the address that he gave tonight, the staff that's helped put this on, but most importantly, I appreciate you for being here, because this event is for you. It's an opportunity for you to hear a little bit about what's going on in Canton, and hopefully you will go out and be an ambassador to others that you see. So thank you very much for being here tonight. Thank you to those who are on the stage with me, and we will see you hopefully at a new council meeting. You can always come February the 6th. We'll have a council meeting first and third Thursdays, but we'll do this again next year. So thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.